I shouldn't be doing this. That's the first thing you need to know. I have a rule. Never share the stories that feel wrong, the ones that make my skin crawl just thinking about them. But tonight, I'm breaking that rule. Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's something darker. Either way, if you're watching this, it's already too late to turn back. You're probably sitting somewhere safe right now. Maybe you're curled up in bed or scrolling through your phone in a room that feels familiar, protected by the soft glow of a screen. But safety is a fragile thing. It's a thin wall, and on the other side, there are things you don't want to see, things you don't want to know. Some legends are better left untold, but tonight, I'm ignoring that warning. I'm opening the archive, the one I promised myself I'd never touch. These aren't the stories you find on Wikipedia or the ones your friends tell at sleepovers. These are the ones whispered about in locked rooms, the ones that get passed around in fragments, always with a warning attached. I've spent years collecting them, piecing them together from late-night confessions, anonymous emails, and the kind of forums you regret stumbling into. Some of them have never been told in full. Until now. I should warn you, there are consequences to hearing these stories. Not for me. I made my choice a long time ago. For you. Some say one of these stories is cursed. Not in this spooky internet chain letter way, but in a way that lingers. A way that changes things. But which one? That's the fun part. Or the dangerous part, depending on how you look at it. You might want to leave the lights on for this one. Or maybe you're the type who likes to tempt fate. Either way, you're here now, and I'm not stopping. I'll tell you the stories that keep me up at night. The ones that make me question what's real and what's just a shadow in the corner of my eye. Let's start with the one that still haunts me, even now. Have you ever answered a call you wish you hadn't? I don't mean a telemarketer or your boss on a Sunday. I mean a call that feels wrong the moment you pick up. A call that shouldn't exist. Where I grew up, there was a legend about the midnight caller. Supposedly, if your phone rang at exactly midnight and the number was all zeros or just blank, you were supposed to let it ring. If you answered, you'd be marked. Marked for what? No one could say. But everyone had a story about someone who knew someone who picked up, and things were never the same for them after. I used to laugh it off. Urban legends are like that. Fun to scare each other with, but easy to dismiss in the daylight. My friends and I were experts at daring each other to do stupid things. We'd sneak into abandoned houses, play with Ouija boards, even try Bloody Mary in the school bathroom. The midnight caller was just another story to us, until the night it wasn't. It was a Friday, late October, the kind of night where the air feels thin and restless. We were at my friend Jamie's house, half watching horror movies, half scrolling through our phones. Someone brought up the midnight caller, and the room got quiet in that way it does when everyone wants to pretend they're not scared. Jamie grinned and said, "Let's see if it's real. I'll answer if it rings." We all laughed, but there was an edge to it. Midnight came and went. No calls. We teased Jamie for being all talk, and eventually everyone drifted off to sleep, except me. I was lying on the floor, staring at the ceiling, when my phone buzzed. I checked the screen. No number. Just a blank space where the caller ID should be. My heart thudded. I told myself it was a glitch, maybe a spam call, but my hand shook as I picked it up. "Hello." My voice sounded small, even to me. There was a pause, then a voice. Distorted, like it was coming from underwater. "You shouldn't have answered." I froze. I could hear my own breathing, ragged and loud. The voice continued, soft and almost familiar. "You think this is a joke. You think you're safe. But I know you, and I know what you did." I tried to laugh it off, but my mouth was dry. "Who is this?" "Jamie, is this you?" The voice ignored me. "You lied to your mother last week. You said you were at Jamie's, but you weren't. You were at the old quarry. You left before the police came, but you saw what happened." My blood ran cold. No one knew about that. Not even Jamie. I sat up, glancing around the dark room, half expecting to see someone standing over me. "What do you want?" I whispered. The voice dropped lower, almost a growl. "You can't run from what you've done. You can't hide from the truth. At midnight, you answered. Now you're marked." The call ended. Just like that. No click, no dial tone. Just silence. I stared at my phone, willing it to make sense. I wanted to wake Jamie, to tell him what happened, but I couldn't move. I lay there until the first light crept through the window, heart pounding, mind racing. The next day, I tried to convince myself it was a prank. Maybe someone hacked my phone. Maybe it was a coincidence. But then Jamie called me, his voice shaky. "Did you get a weird call last night?" he asked. I hesitated. "Yeah, did you?" He was quiet for a long time. I didn't answer. but I heard my phone ring. I couldn't pick up. I was too scared. We didn't talk about it after that. Not really. But things started to change. I'd get texts from unknown numbers, always at midnight. Sometimes they'd just say my name. Sometimes they'd mention things I'd never told anyone. I started seeing shadows in the corners of my room, hearing whispers when I was alone. I stopped sleeping. My grades slipped. My friends noticed, but I couldn't explain. How do you tell someone you're being haunted by a phone call? A few weeks later, I heard about someone else. A girl from another school, found wandering the streets at midnight, muttering about voices on the phone. She wouldn't say what they told her, just that she wished she'd never answered. Some say if you answer, you're marked. Marked for what? I still don't know. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's something worse. I never told anyone what the voice said. Until now. But that's just the beginning. The next story is even worse. What if your reflection wasn't alone? I don't mean the tricks your eyes play on you when you're tired, or the way the light shifts at night. I mean something else. Something that watches from just behind your shoulder, waiting for you to notice. There's a reason some mirrors are covered in old houses, and it's not just superstition. Some say it's to keep things from getting out. I never believed any of that, not really. But my friend Riley did. She was obsessed with haunted objects. Mirrors, dolls, music boxes, you name it. She'd spend hours scrolling through forums, reading about cursed antiques and the people who regretted bringing them home. She'd send me links at 2 in the morning. Look at this one. Supposedly, if you stare into it long enough, you see someone else's eyes looking back. I'd laugh, tell her she needed to get more sleep, but she never let it go. Then she found the mirror. It was at a thrift store on the edge of town, tucked behind a stack of old paintings. Oval-shaped, with a tarnished silver frame and glass that looked older than the building itself. Riley sent me a picture, her face reflected in the dusty surface, grinning like she'd found buried treasure. I had to have it, she texted. It's perfect. I didn't think much of it at first. She brought it home, propped it up on her dresser, and started sending me updates. I swear it's colder in my room now, she wrote one night. Like the mirrors sucking up all the warmth. I told her it was probably just her imagination, or maybe a draft. But the messages kept coming. A week later, she called me, her voice tight. Have you ever heard of the shadow in the mirror? She asked. I hesitated. Is that another creepypasta? No, it's real. I read about it on a forum. People say if you look into a certain mirror at night, you'll see a shadowy figure standing behind you. At first, it's far away, but every time you look, it gets closer. And if it ever reaches you. She trailed off. I tried to joke. What? It drags you into the mirror world. She didn't laugh. I think I saw it last night. Just a shape, way in the back. I thought it was a smudge, but it moved when I did. I'm not crazy, right? I wanted to reassure her, but something in her voice made me uneasy. Maybe you're just tired. Or maybe the mirror's just dirty. She sighed. Yeah, maybe. But the texts kept coming, later and later each night. It's closer now. I can see its outline. I tried to cover the mirror, but the sheet keeps slipping off. I woke up and it was right behind me in the reflection. I could feel it breathing. I started to worry. I told her to get rid of the mirror, to smash it if she had to. She said she tried, but every time she moved it, she'd catch a glimpse of the shadow, closer than before. She stopped sleeping. She stopped going to class. Her messages got frantic, full of typos and half-finished thoughts. One night, I got a voicemail. Her voice was barely more than a whisper. I can't do this anymore. It's right there. I can see its face. It's not human. If anything happens to me, don't look in the mirror. Don't let it out. I called her back, over and over, but she didn't answer. The next day, her mom called me, frantic. Riley was gone. Her room was empty, except for the mirror, propped up on the dresser, the glass fogged over like someone had been breathing on it from the inside. I went to her house, even though every instinct told me not to. The room felt wrong. Cold, heavy, like the air was thicker near the mirror. I stood in front of it, heart pounding, and forced myself to look. At first, I saw nothing but my own reflection, pale and shaken. But then, just for a second, I thought I saw something move behind me. A flicker of darkness, gone before I could focus on it. I took the mirror home. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could figure out what happened, or maybe I just couldn't leave it there. I've kept it covered ever since, but sometimes, late at night, I hear a faint tapping from under the sheet, like fingernails on glass. Sometimes, when I walk past, I catch a glimpse of something in the corner of my eye. A shape, waiting. I've read about other cases since then. Mirrors that show things that shouldn't be there. People who vanish without a trace, leaving only a cold, fogged-up surface behind. There's a whole network of haunted objects out there, stories that connect in ways most people never realize. Riley's mirror is just one of them. I still have her mirror. Sometimes, I think I see something move. If you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear about the next legend. Would you stop for a stranger on a deserted road? I used to think I knew the answer. I'd heard all the stories. Urban legends about hitchhikers who vanish from the back seat, or who leave behind something chilling as proof they were never really there. I always thought those stories were just that, stories. Until the night I picked someone up, and everything changed. It was late. Later than I should have been driving, honestly. I was coming back from a friend's place out in the country, the kind of area where the streetlights are few and far between, and the radio only picks up static. The road was empty, just me and the hum of the engine when I saw her. She was standing on the shoulder, thumb out, hair plastered to her face by the rain. I almost drove past, but something made me slow down. Maybe it was guilt, or maybe just the way she looked at me, like she'd been waiting for me, specifically. I rolled down the window. "You need a ride?" She nodded, her eyes dark and unreadable. "If it's not too much trouble." I unlocked the door, and she slid in, water pooling on the seat. She didn't say much at first, just stared out the window, her hands folded in her lap. I tried to break the silence. "Rough night to be out walking." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You could say that. Sometimes you end up places you never meant to go." I laughed, trying to shake off the unease. "Yeah, I know the feeling. Where are you headed?" She turned to look at me, and for a second, I felt like she was looking through me. "Home, if I can find it." We drove in silence for a while. The rain drummed on the roof, and the headlights carved tunnels through the darkness. I kept glancing at her, trying to place what felt so off. She looked familiar, but I couldn't figure out why. Then she spoke again, her voice softer. "You've been down this road before, haven't you?" I frowned. "Yeah, a few times. My friend lives out here." She nodded. "You used to come here as a kid. You and your brother, right? You'd sneak out at night, try to scare each other." My hands tightened on the wheel. "How did you know that?" She just smiled, turning back to the window. People leave pieces of themselves behind. Sometimes the road remembers. I tried to laugh it off, but my skin prickled. "You must be from around here." She shook her head. "Not anymore." The conversation got stranger. She started asking questions. About my family, my old house, things I hadn't thought about in years. She mentioned my brother's name, the way he used to dare me to walk the old bridge at midnight. She even knew about the time I fell and scraped my knee, the scar I still have. I didn't remember telling anyone about that, not even my closest friends. I glanced at her again, and for a moment, her reflection in the window looked wrong. Distorted, like the glass was warping her face. I blinked, and it was gone. We reached the crossroads where the old church used to stand. She leaned forward, her breath fogging the glass. "You can let me out here." I pulled over, heart pounding. She opened the door, but before she stepped out, she turned to me. "Be careful on this road. Not everyone who travels it makes it home." I tried to ask her what she meant, but she was already gone, swallowed by the rain and darkness. I sat there for a minute, trying to calm down, telling myself it was just a weird encounter. Then I looked at the passenger seat. There, sitting where she'd been, was my old house key. The one I lost when I was 12, the one with the faded blue tag. I hadn't seen it in years. I picked it up, and it was ice cold, slick with rain that hadn't touched the inside of my car. I drove home in silence, the key clutched in my hand. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about her words, about the way she'd known things she shouldn't have. I wondered if I'd really picked up a stranger, or if I'd given a ride to something else. Something that knew me better than I knew myself. Since then, I've heard other stories. People write in, telling me about hitchhikers who vanish, about rides that end with a warning or a gift that shouldn't exist. Some say the hitchhiker is still out there, waiting for the next ride, the next person who thinks they're just being kind. Maybe she's looking for something, or maybe she's just making sure the road remembers. I still get chills every time I drive that road. But not all legends are about strangers. Some are much closer to home. What if your home didn't want you to leave? I'm not talking about the way a place can grow on you, or how memories can make it hard to move on. I mean something deeper, something that feels you moving through its halls, that learns your habits, your secrets, and then starts to change you. Some say the house chooses who stays and who disappears. I never believed in haunted houses. I thought the stories were just a way to explain creaky floors and cold drafts. But then I moved into 17, Willow Lane, and everything I thought I knew about home changed. It was supposed to be a fresh start. The rent was cheap, the neighborhood quiet, and the house itself was old but charming. Arched doorways, stained glass windows, a garden overgrown with wild roses. The first night, I felt lucky. I unpacked, made tea, and watched the sunset from the porch. For a moment, I thought I'd finally found a place that felt like mine. But almost immediately, little things fell off. The lights would flicker, but only when I was alone. Doors I knew I'd closed would be open in the morning. I'd hear footsteps in the attic, even though I was the only one with a key. At first, I blamed the age of the house, or maybe my own nerves. Moving is stressful, right? Then I started to feel watched. Not just the usual paranoia, but a prickling at the back of my neck, like someone was standing just out of sight. I'd catch glimpses of movement in the mirrors, shadows that didn't belong to me. Sometimes, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and find all the lights in the house turned on, every bulb burning bright. I tried to ignore it, but the feeling only grew. One afternoon, as I was weeding the garden, my neighbor, Mrs. Ellison, wandered over. She was in her 70s, with sharp eyes and a voice like gravel. "You're the new tenant, aren't you?" she asked, peering at me over the fence. I nodded. "Just moved in last week." She pursed her lips. "You know, that house has a history. People don't stay long. They say it gets inside your head." I laughed, trying to brush it off. "You mean it's haunted?" She didn't smile. "Not haunted. Hungry. It likes to watch. Likes to keep people close." I shivered, even though the sun was warm. "Well, I'll keep an eye out." She leaned in, lowering her voice. "If you start forgetting things, or if you feel like you're not alone, get out. Don't wait." That night, I dreamed of eyes. Hundreds of them, blinking from the walls, the ceiling, even the floor. I woke up gasping, heart racing, and found the bedroom door wide open. I was sure I'd locked it. The days blurred together. I started losing time. Hours would vanish, and I'd find myself standing in rooms I didn't remember entering. My phone would ring, but when I answered, there was only static. I found notes in my own handwriting, reminders to do things I didn't recall writing. "Don't trust the mirrors. Stay out of the basement. It's watching." I tried to talk to other neighbors, but most avoided me. The few who did speak were cagey, glancing nervously at my house as if it might overhear. One man, Mr. Patel, told me, "You're not the first. The last tenant, she started acting strange. Said the house was talking to her. She left in the middle of the night, never came back." I started digging through old records, newspaper clippings, anything I could find. There were stories, tenants who vanished, families who moved out after only a few months, police reports about strange noises and missing pets. The deeper I looked, the more I found hints of something bigger. A network of places like mine, houses and buildings with histories that didn't add up. Some people online whispered about a conspiracy, a map of cursed locations that seemed to feed off the people who lived there. One night, I found a box in the attic, filled with journals from previous tenants. The entries started normal. Grocery lists, complaints about the plumbing. But over time, the handwriting grew frantic, the words more desperate. "It's in the walls. I can't leave. It knows my name." The last entry was just a single sentence, scrawled over and over. "Don't look at the windows after dark." That was the night I decided to leave. I packed a bag, grabbed my keys, and tried to walk out the front door. But the lock jammed. The windows wouldn't budge. Every exit seemed to close itself off, as if the house was tightening its grip. I could feel it watching, waiting to see what I'd do next. I don't remember how I got out. The next thing I knew, I was standing on the sidewalk, the house looming behind me, silent and still. I never went back. I left everything. Furniture, clothes, even my favorite books. It wasn't worth the risk. I moved out, but sometimes I still feel its eyes on me. When I pass by old houses, or when I catch my reflection in a dark window, I wonder if it's still watching, waiting for me to come home. But the next legend is the one that truly haunts me. Would you follow a voice you know is impossible? That's the question that haunts me every time I think about the woods near my hometown. There's a legend around here, one that everyone knows, but no one really talks about. They call it the Whispering Woods. Some say the trees themselves are alive, that they remember every secret ever spoken beneath their branches. Others say the woods are hungry, and that the voices you hear aren't really voices at all. I used to think it was just a story to keep kids from wandering off the trails. But then I went camping there with 3 friends, and I learned the hard way that some legends are warnings, not just tales. It was late summer, the air thick with the smell of pine and earth. We were restless, bored of the same old hangouts, so when Jamie suggested a night in the woods, we all jumped at the chance. There was me, Jamie, Riley, and Mark. We packed up our tents, loaded the car with snacks and cheap beer, and set out just before sunset. The woods looked beautiful in the golden light, peaceful, even inviting. It's funny how quickly that can change. We set up camp in a clearing not far from the old fire road. The first few hours were perfect. We roasted marshmallows, told ghost stories, and laughed at how easily Mark jumped at every crack of a twig. The sky was clear, the stars bright, and for a while, it felt like nothing could touch us. But as the night deepened, the woods changed. The air grew colder, the darkness thicker. The wind picked up, carrying with it a sound that was almost like laughter. Soft, distant, impossible to pin down. Jamie was the first to notice. "Do you guys hear that?" he asked, voice low. Riley rolled her eyes. "It's just the wind, dude." But I heard it too. A whisper, just at the edge of hearing, like someone calling my name from far away. I tried to shake it off, but the feeling of being watched crept over me, prickling my skin. We tried to ignore it, but the whispers grew louder. Sometimes they sounded like strangers, but sometimes they sounded like people we knew. I heard my mother's voice, calling me home for dinner. Mark swore he heard his little sister, even though she'd moved out of state years ago. Jamie's face went pale when he heard his late grandfather's voice, telling him to come closer, just a little deeper into the trees. The banter faded. We huddled closer to the fire, trying to drown out the voices with music and bad jokes. But the woods pressed in, the trees seeming to lean closer, their branches clawing at the sky. Then Mark stood up, his eyes glassy. "Did you hear that? She's out there. I have to go." We tried to stop him, but he shook us off, stumbling into the darkness. His flashlight bobbed between the trees, then vanished. We called after him, but the only answer was the wind and those damned whispers. We searched for hours, our voices hoarse, our nerves frayed. At some point, Jamie's phone buzzed. A voicemail from Mark, timestamped just minutes after he disappeared. We played it on speaker, huddled together in the cold. At first, it was just static. Then Mark's voice, shaky and terrified. "I can't find you guys. I keep hearing her. She's calling me deeper. I know it's not real, but I can't stop. If you find this, don't follow the voices. Please, don't." The message cut off with a sound I'll never forget. A wet, choking gasp and then silence. We never found Mark. The police searched for days, but there was no trace. No footprints, no torn clothing, nothing. Just the voicemail and the memory of those whispers. Since then, I've heard from others. Viewers who write in with their own stories about the woods. Some say they've heard voices calling them by name, promising secrets or forgiveness or things they desperately want. Some say they've seen figures moving between the trees, always just out of reach. A few have sent recordings, snatches of laughter, or a voice that sounds almost like someone they lost. I'd love to hear your theories. Have you ever heard the whispers? Do you think it's the woods themselves, or something older, something that feeds on loneliness and longing? Drop your stories in the comments. Maybe together, we can piece together what's really out there. All I know is, I don't go near those woods anymore. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear those whispers when I close my eyes. They sound like home, like comfort, like everything I've ever wanted. But I know better now. Some say the woods are still hungry. But there's one last legend I've never dared to share until now. This is the story I swore I'd never tell. I know I said that before, but this one is different. This isn't just a legend or a warning. It's something that follows you, even after the telling. If you're still watching, you're part of this now. You can still turn back, but if you keep listening, you can't say you weren't warned. I first heard about the cursed story from a message that showed up in my inbox at 3:03 a.m. No sender, no subject, just a single line in the body. Do not share this. Do not read aloud. Do not remember. I should have deleted it. I tried, but the message kept coming back, no matter how many times I emptied my trash. Eventually, curiosity won. I opened the attachment. What I found wasn't a story, not in the usual sense. It was a collection of fragments. Half sentences, redacted names, warnings scrawled in the margins. It started with a house, or maybe a room. The details are always shifting, like the story doesn't want to be pinned down. Some say it's a place you visit in dreams. Others say it's a memory you can't quite shake. The only thing everyone agrees on is the feeling, a cold weight in your chest, a sense that you're being watched by something that knows you better than you know yourself. There are rules, but they're never the same twice. Don't look at the clock. Don't answer if someone knocks 3 times. Don't say your own name out loud. I tried to follow them, but the more I read, the more the rules changed. Sometimes the warnings would glitch, words replaced by static or symbols I couldn't understand. Sometimes, I'd wake up with the story still echoing in my head, pieces missing, as if something had been erased while I slept. I started noticing things. My phone would ring at odd hours, but there was never anyone on the line. I'd find notes in my handwriting. Don't finish the story, tucked into books I hadn't opened in years. My reflection would lag behind, just for a second, as if it was waiting for me to slip up. I tried to stop. I tried to forget, but the story kept coming back, filling in the blanks with new details, new warnings. I started seeing shadows in the corners of my room, hearing whispers that sounded like my own voice, just a little off. I haven't slept through the night in weeks. Some secrets are better left buried, but you wanted to know. So here it is. The cursed story isn't just a story. It's a contagion, a pattern that spreads from mind to mind, changing as it goes. If you've listened this far, you've already let it in. Maybe you'll forget. Maybe you'll dream about a room you've never seen, or hear your name whispered from the dark. Maybe nothing will happen. Or maybe you'll start to notice the rules, the warnings, the things that don't quite add up. If anything happens to me after this, you'll know why. If you're still here, you're braver than most. Remember, you chose to listen. That's the price of knowing. The stories stay with you, whether you want them to or not. Maybe you're feeling a little uneasy now, glancing over your shoulder or checking your phone for strange calls. That's normal. Curiosity always comes with a cost. Which story haunted you the most? Was it the midnight caller, the shadow in the mirror, or maybe the one about the woods that whisper your name? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your theories, your own experiences, or even the legends you grew up with. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next one I share, if you're brave enough to send it. If you've been here before, you know this is where we trade nightmares and warnings. Shout out to the regulars who always joke about keeping their mirrors covered, or the ones who swear they'll never answer a midnight call again. And for those of you who made it through the cursed story, well, you're part of the club now. Just remember the rules. There are more stories out there. Some I haven't dared to tell, some that might be too dangerous to share. For now, I'll let you decide how much you want to know. Next time, the story might be about you. Sleep well if you can.